In just 34 seconds, the golden age of the rigid airship came to a fiery and tragic end. The destruction of the Hindenburg wasn't just the loss of a vessel. It was the spectacular death of a dream of silent, majestic giants gliding through the skies. We have all seen the harrowing footage, the immense cigar-shaped craft suddenly bursting into a colossal fireball as it approached its landing mast in Lakehurst,
New Jersey.
But what really happened on that fateful day, May 6th, 1937? Was it a simple accident? A perfect storm of unfortunate circumstances? Or was there something more sinister at play? Let's analyze the evidence, the leading theories, and the enduring debate that surrounds the Hindenburg disaster. The LZ-129 Hindenburg was more than just an airship. It was a national symbol, the absolute pinnacle of German aeronautical engineering, and a powerful propaganda tool for the Nazi regime. It was the largest flying machine ever built, stretching an incredible 804 feet, nearly the length of 3 football fields. Inside its silvery fabric skin, it was a floating luxury hotel. Passengers enjoyed private cabins, a dining room with fine porcelain, a lounge with a grand piano, and even a pressurized smoking room. For a brief, shining moment, the Hindenburg represented the future of transatlantic traveler, comfortable, elegant alternative to the days-long journey by sea. Its final flight began in Frankfurt, Germany, carrying 36 passengers and a crew of 61. After an uneventful 3-day crossing of the Atlantic, it arrived over Lakehurst, but a line of thunderstorms delayed its landing. For hours, the great airship circled the New Jersey coast, its passengers peering out the promenade windows, eager to set foot on American soil. Finally, as the weather cleared, Captain Max Prussian guided the Hindenburg toward its mooring mast. On the ground, spectators and newsreel cameras were ready to capture the routine arrival of the magnificent Zeppelin. Then, at 7:25 p.m., the unthinkable occurred. A flicker of flame appeared near the tail section, and within moments, the entire stern was engulfed in a raging inferno. The highly flammable hydrogen gas that kept the behemoth afloat became its executioner. The fire spread with terrifying speed, consuming the fabric and framework as the ship's tail dropped to the ground. Panicked passengers and crew leaped from the windows, some from heights that were impossible to survive. In just over half a minute, the pride of Germany was reduced to a heap of twisted, smoldering metal on the airfield. Miraculously, 62 of the 97 people on board survived, a testament to human instinct and sheer luck. The immediate aftermath was chaos and disbelief. How could this have happened? The official investigation, conducted jointly by American and German authorities, pointed to a specific chain of events. The leading theory became known as the static spark theory. The idea is that as the Hindenburg passed through the electrically charged atmosphere of the thunderstorm, its fabric skin built up a significant static charge. When the ground crew dropped the mooring lines, which became wet from the rain, they effectively grounded the airship's metal framework. This created a massive difference in electrical potential between the grounded frame and the still-charged outer cover. According to this theory, a spark jumped across this gap, igniting a small leak of hydrogen that was venting from one of the gas cells near the tail. Hydrogen is the lightest element, but it is also incredibly flammable. The Hindenburg was filled with 7 million cubic feet of it. Once a spark found that leaking gas, a chain reaction was inevitable. The resulting fire was catastrophic, feeding on the vast reservoir of fuel and destroying the airship from the inside out. This explanation has remained the most widely accepted one for decades. It paints the disaster as a tragic accident, a convergence of bad weather, atmospheric physics, and a fatal design choice. But this brings us to the great hydrogen versus helium debate. The Hindenburg was originally designed to be lifted by helium, a non-flammable inert gas. Helium provides slightly less lift than hydrogen, but has the supreme advantage of being completely safe from fire. However, the United States, which had a virtual monopoly on the world's helium supply at the time, refused to sell the gas to Nazi Germany due to a military embargo. The Germans had a perfect safety record with their hydrogen-filled passenger airships up to that point, and were forced to proceed with the more dangerous gas. Had the Hindenburg been filled with helium, the static spark would have been harmless. The disaster as we know it simply would not have occurred. The ship might have suffered a tear or a leak, but it would not have erupted into a ball of fire. The 35 lives lost that day are a direct consequence of this geopolitical decision. While the static spark theory is compelling, it is not without its critics. Over the years, other theories have emerged, some pointing to mechanical failure and others to deliberate sabotage. The sabotage theory was popular in the immediate aftermath. Given the political climate of 1937, with tensions rising across Europe, it seemed plausible that an enemy of the Nazi regime might have targeted its most prominent symbol. One of the leading proponents of this theory was Commander Charles Rosendahl, the commanding officer of the Naval Air Station at Lakehurst and a key eyewitness. He was convinced he saw the initial flame burn with a soft, diffused light, which he argued was inconsistent with a pure hydrogen fire. He believed a saboteur had planted an incendiary device on board. Investigators even had a suspect, a passenger named Joseph Spach, a German-American acrobat who was traveling with his dog. He had access to restricted areas of the ship to visit his dog in the cargo hold, and some crew members reported he made anti-Nazi jokes. He was thoroughly investigated by the FBI but was ultimately cleared of any wrongdoing. No credible evidence of a bomb or any saboteur has ever been found. The theory lives on mostly in the realm of speculation, fueled by the dramatic nature of the event and the political context. Another fascinating, more recent theory is the incendiary paint theory. Proposed by retired NASA engineer Addison Bain, this hypothesis suggests that the initial spark did not ignite hydrogen at all. Instead, Bain argued that the spark ignited the very skin of the airship. The Hindenburg's cotton fabric cover was treated with multiple layers of a doping compound to make it durable and airtight. This compound included materials like iron oxide and aluminum powder, which are highly flammable and are components of solid rocket fuel. According to this theory, the static spark ignited the flammable skin, and this fire then burned its way to one of the hydrogen gas cells, causing the main inferno. This would explain the initial reports of a fire that seemed to spread across the surface before the massive explosion of hydrogen occurred. However, subsequent experiments have cast doubt on this theory as well. While the doped fabric is flammable, it does not burn nearly fast enough to account for the rapid destruction of the Hindenburg in just 34 seconds. Most experts now believe it was likely a combination of factors: a hydrogen leak, a static spark, and the flammable nature of the ship's outer covering all contributed to the speed and intensity of the fire. Ultimately, whether it was an accident or sabotage, the Hindenburg disaster irrevocably shattered public confidence in airship travel. The shocking newsreel footage and the horrified radio broadcast by Herbert Morrison, "Oh, the humanity," were seared into the public consciousness. The image of the majestic airship consumed by fire became a powerful symbol of technological failure. No one wanted to fly in a floating vessel filled with explosive gas anymore. The era of the great passenger zeppelins was over. Heavier than aircraft, like the airplanes that were rapidly advancing in speed and reliability, would come to dominate the skies. The Hindenburg remains a cautionary tale about the delicate balance between ambition and safety, and a somber reminder of how quickly a symbol of pride can become a monument to tragedy. Thank you for watching. If you found this analysis interesting, be sure to subscribe to Historical Repo for more deep dives into the most fascinating events of the past.